Hello, Mr. Rod. Good afternoon from Boston. Camila, Randall, and Vladimir have worked with me, Chetan, on this rescheduling for you, and I hope that you also have the memo that we have sent you earlier. I'll be just presenting a brief outline of our suggestions that we have given so that your church gets completed before the schedule. Okay, I'll just give you a brief introduction of what I'm going to present here right now. From our understanding, the client has asked American Constructors Inc to complete the project before the deadline. Now the deadline has changed to 14th of December. I'll first be explaining the current situation, and then we'll be giving the recommendations for the schedule change based on different project management techniques like fast tracking, schedule float, and overtime, which we have used in our analysis. Also, we will be telling you about the impact that these schedule changes would have on the overall budget, and what are the risks, and what can we do to mitigate those risks. With the current situation, as you already know, that ACI is constructing the World Outreach Church. It was scheduled to be completed in March 2010, but the project deadline moved twice, first to January 2010, and now the client wants it to be completed before December 14th in time for Christmas. ACI has to adjust the schedule so that they can bring their project completion as close to this date as possible. Okay, for our recommendations, we have done a project level balancing, which includes overtime for the workers in only 1 week. In only 1 week, we will be having more hours throughout the week, and in another week, we will ask the employees to come during the weekends for another task that is there. The advantages having the same people work on more hours, like instead of bringing in more people to do the task, having the same people work overtime, is that we reduce the time that we will be spending in training or educating these new employees regarding that task. Also, regarding the business case level balancing that we have done, we have a lot of recommendations. The full details would be there in the memo, but most of the recommendations are we have overlapped certain tasks that were not related, but they were dependent on each other previously, but we have asked them to be done in parallel. Also, certain tasks which were not related to the critical path to the completion of the project, we have moved their schedules. You can see the details of these schedule changes in the memo that we have sent you earlier. Now, Randall would explain to you the risks and the mitigation of those risks and the final conclusion of our recommendations.
As a team, it was important for us to notate any risks that may occur due to the changes that we were implementing. And we found a few in regard to allowing people to work overtime. People are going to have to get paid additional for their extra hours that are going to be worked. So there's going to be an increase in our costs, an increase in our budget. And we're also going to have to incentivize the subcontractors, which is going to affect our costs as well. But since schedule is the most important on our triple constraint at the moment, we're going to sacrifice costs to make sure that the schedule and the church is completed on schedule. So in order to mitigate this risk, we're going to just prepare for it and increase our budget. And we're only going to do overtime for 1 weekend and 1 week only. So this won't affect our employees too much either, because if there's too much overtime and too much stress and too much overworking, there may be a result of low morale, and then there's also a possibility of accidents during overtime because employees may be a little bit more tired. But we're going to provide financial incentives to these employees to work overtime. And as I said, it's only going to be for 1 weekend, for 1 week. And we're going to ensure adequate safety and more precautions and monitoring during this time to make sure that our employees are safe. And we're going to spread our best performers, throughout these two tasks. To make sure that we have some top people, a great balance of diversity so that people don't feel like they're working below their skill level or too far above their skill level. Also, with a change in the schedule to make sure that we're trying to limit or reduce the amount of time it takes for each task, we may lose the room we have for error and for things to come up in the night. So we're going to have to really control things and monitor things so that we can make sure that everything is done accurately and precisely, so we don't have to really change anything. and that if anything does happen, that we can just go back one task prior to fix it. Moving on to our conclusion, as you can see, our proposed techniques, fast tracking, overtime, and schedule flow will allow for the fire marshal inspection to be completed by December 8th, 2009, and from there, the architect's punch list can begin. The church will be able to move in during the architect's punch list, and if there's any adjustments that need to be made, they can be made while the congregation is in the church. Our most important thing is schedule. As mentioned before, we are going to make sure that the church is able to be utilized by the time of the Christmas season and Christmas program. Costs will be higher and it will be sacrificed. However, our reputation will not be sacrificed because we will be able to deliver the promised product to the client in the guaranteed time.
With that, we have concluded our presentation. If you have any specific questions regarding the recommendations that we have given in our memo, please email them to us and we'll be glad to get back to you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Have a nice day.
Yeah.